Um, Welcome, everybody. It's February 15th, 2022, a little after 6, and we're here for a public participation meeting of the Planning Advisory Committee, Municipality District of Yarmouth. So we call the meeting to order. I'd like to begin with item 2, a land acknowledgement. I would like to begin by acknowledging that we are on the traditional lands of the Acadia First Nation, part of Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Item 3, the statement of purpose for this evening's meeting is in the event the public participation meeting is to receive comments regarding an application to rezone PID 901-83526 Highway 3, Pleasant Lake, from rural commercial RC to rural development RD for the purpose of an aesthetic business spa. And again, this is this meeting's a form of a public hearing, so we're here to hear from a number of residents, and it's for the Pleasant Lake rezoning. 4.1 registered public speakers tonight. We have Sherry Thompson, Karen Jarvis, and Bonnie Jeffrey with us, and we've allotted 10 minutes for each of those speakers, and they'll go sequentially in that order. So I'd like to call on Ms. Sherry Thompson to present her to present to PAC first. Ms. Thompson.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah.
Hello.
Ms. Thompson.
Yes, this is Sherry Thompson.
Good.
And I'm the property owner that lives directly across from this proposal.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you could hear me. Okay,
No,
I live directly across from this proposal, and all my family has grown up here for over 200 years on this side of the road almost. My great-grandparents, my grandparents, my mother, my family, we don't want this here. We do not want this to go ahead and turn into commercial rezoning, because we don't know what is going to happen to this so-called business after it fails. And anything can go in there then. And this is right outside my front door, my living room window. The only thing that separates us is the highway. I've gone around to all of the community in Pleasant Lake, from the Shell gas station to the river, and I submitted quite a few papers today, and people couldn't get back to me with the rest of them because of the storm for the last 2 days. Now, my other issue is, how come we only got this notice on Thursday and the meeting is today, Tuesday? 2 business days. I talked to everybody in my community for 3 days over the whole weekend. And there is a lot of people that did not receive this notice from the municipality or from this C&D Farce Company, whoever they are. All of us know what it says on the front of that, and that's Alan Burke. Now, whoever is connected with that, everybody is in opposition of it. We do not want this residency out here turned into a commercial zoning. I have talked to many people here in the last 3 or 4 days that I've been able to, And the next few callers that call in, they'll voice their opinions. We have documents. The next property owner is Bonnie, Miss Bonnie Jeffrey. She owns two sides of it. The other person that owns the other side of the property is Mr. Corey Surratt. And he's coming to see me here. He couldn't get here right now, but he's coming to see me because he just learned of it on Friday night. And he doesn't want it either. I still have more feedback comments, at least another 20 or 30. And the numbers, the civic numbers that I gave for photocopies today, they are all residents of this area. The other concern we have is how come it was hit and miss that some people got the notice and some people didn't. The woman next door, 2 houses down, never got it, but the house 5 houses the other way got it. That's a concern. We have a lot of issues with this matter, and we're not going to let it go. And there's a lot of voices in this situation. And, well, I hope you're hearing what I'm saying, and now you're telling me that there's traditional Mi'kmaq. I'm Mi'kmaq. My family has Mi'kmaq and status at that. We don't want this business across the street from our home. I'm going to go on and I'll let the other people talk and I'll listen.
Thank you very much for your comments. So we'll pass the floor to the second speaker, Karen Jarvis. Ms. Jarvis? Ms. Jarvis, I believe you're muted. Okay, you're on now. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. What's your name again? Sorry.
It's Trevor Cunningham. I'm chair of the PAC and the deputy warden for the municipality of Yarmouth.
You said Charlie?
No, Trevor Cunningham.
Trevor. Okay, great. Yeah, Trevor. So my name is Karen Jarvis, and I'm at 9154 Pleasant Lake Road. So to put that in terms, where this proposed site is, where the sign's up for this proposed site to go, I would be 2 houses down. So again, as Ms. Thompson had mentioned, I wasn't made aware of this proposal to rezone that area. I guess it was Friday, and I was very shocked to see that that it was wanting, or that it's being proposed to be rezoned as a commercial property, and 2, I was shocked to find out what the business is going to be. And 3, I did not get any feedback. I didn't get any letters. I didn't get any heads up as to what was going there, which is very concerning, because I figure I'm in this community, and I myself have been, my grandmother lives across the road, which is right next to Sherry Thompson. I grew up there. I've been here my whole life, as Sherry said as well. And you know, I don't want to see, it's not so much, I guess, the business. I feel too that, you know, the business comes in, and I'm not saying that it's going to fail, but if it doesn't go, then it's already rezoned as commercial. I'm not sure. I guess I have more questions. I'm not sure as if that doesn't work, or if that doesn't happen, does that stay as a commercial property, or is that something that would go back to residential? I would prefer to see, you know, I would prefer to see a residential dwelling going there as opposed to a business. As we all know, with a business, there's going to be more traffic. There's going to be some type of pollution, I would assume. And again, it's just letting the public know. Like, I just feel like this is very rushed, and I don't know, maybe this is just the first stages. Someone else could answer this for me. but I just want to make my voice heard. It just seems like it would be the same if it was in your community, Trevor, or any other community. You want to know what's going on in your own backyard. You want to know what's going to affect you and your family. And I feel, and I don't know, I'm guessing this isn't just something that happened overnight. I'm guessing this took planning, and it took emails, and it took talking behind the scenes for a lot longer than 2 business days or even 2 weeks. So yeah, I guess I just have a lot more questions that I would like answered. But as far as it being rezoned, because that was one of the topics, rezoned as a commercial property, that doesn't sit well with me. I don't feel that that it should be. And again, I had mentioned too, I knew that it was on Mi'kmaq land. And again, it goes back to, you know, developers or whoever coming in, and it's sacred land. And, you know, I just don't feel that this type of business would be appropriate for our area. Thank you so much for hearing me.
You're welcome. And I just will comment that this is a sort of the public hearing. It's not a public hearing, it's public participation session. So we're here to hear from members of the public. And if there are questions and so forth, the public has about it, they can certainly call staff tomorrow. And it is early on, it's at Planning Advisory Committee. And ultimately, all of these matters do go to council, and there's a process for public feedback there, public hearing and so forth. So I will move on to Ms. Bonnie Jeffrey. Ms. Jeffrey, you wanted to speak to the matter? There we go.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can, yes.
Yes, hello. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak. My name is Bonnie Jeffrey, and I reside at 9216 Highway 3 Pleasant Lake. So my property touches 2 sides of the property in question. I emailed Kim Rowley yesterday, and she told me she had the report and had passed it on. My comments tonight are more or less a reiteration of what I had said in the email, with a couple other comments that I've thought of since. Again, I had this listed, and Sherry has already mentioned it. The letter notifying me of the public participation meeting, which was dated February 7th, wasn't received until February 10th, giving me only a couple of business days to look into this rezoning matter. Here's the major issue I have with rezoning this property. The lot does not meet the requirements of a rural commercial zone, nor does it meet the requirements of a residential property, even though a mobile home was once placed there over 50 years ago. Rezoning this property doesn't change the fact that it doesn't meet today's environmental standards for septic, and definitely doesn't meet physical lot size. I couldn't find any report of a QP1 certification of the on-site septic. I'm sure that support will dispute. I'm sure that the report would dispute land use bylaw 4.9.2 without a QP1 approval. Why bother rezoning? Bottom line, if the proposal is approved by council, it sets a precedent that any parcel of land, even less than an acre, because this piece of land is only 0.46 of an acre, can be developed as rural commercial. Even if this piece of land gets rezoned, it doesn't necessarily mean it'll ever be certified as a usable piece of land for any business due to requirements of NS Environment. Commercial on-site sewage systems follow different rules than for residential. I also couldn't find any documentation concerning driveway approval by TIR for commercial access. That's all I had. Once again, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Okay, and thank you for speaking, and thanks to all three residents for taking the time to voice their opinions on the project. So thank you, everybody. We'll move on to item 5, correspondence, and you'll see there are public feedback forms. There are a number of them there, as one or more of our guests this evening have alluded to. There are, I think, probably 30-ish pages of public feedback forms. And they did come to us. Derek Robertson, one of our planners, let us know. He let me know today that there were lots of them that came in, recently, and you likely have not had the opportunity to review all those, but they are there as part of the record. And my suggestion as chair is that we adjourn the meeting, and then we talk about what we're going to do about the volume of forms and so forth, because you're just getting the night. So my suggestion in the regularly scheduled PAC meeting will likely be to table this item, the rezoning, till the next regularly scheduled PAC meeting. So having said that, if there's no further comment, I will look for an adjournment. Nick, Councillor Hilton, you're looking for a comment, or you're moving to adjourn? Adjourn. Okay, so we've got the Nick moving to adjourn. A seconder? Mr. Camo, seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you so much. And so we'll move over now. I'm just going to change my agenda, sorry. Regular PAC. Just bear with me, sorry. Just loading my planning advisory committee meeting. Okay, so I will call to order the planning advisory committee, February 15th, 2022, and call a meeting to order. Item 2 is land acknowledgement. I would like to begin by acknowledging that we are on the traditional lands of the Acadia First Nation, part of Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Item 3, approval of the agenda, and I did speak to this issue or item in the previous meeting. Looking for a motion, my recommendation would be that we would hold over or table item 6.1 until the next regularly scheduled PAC meeting next month. But that's for the committee to decide. So, in the event, approval of the agenda. Anybody want to speak to that? Yes, Mr. Hilton, Councillor Hilton.
Mr. Chair, and we had a similar issue with the last public participation meeting. So to make sure that we give everyone adequate time to absorb the information that arrived at their door, I would move that we, I guess, postpone the recommendation, or postpone that item to the next meeting. So would
Right.
I remove that from the agenda? Is that?
Yes, you could word it either way. You could say, you approve the agenda as circulated with item 6.1, tabled until next month.
So moved.
Okay, so we've got a mover in Councillor Hilton, seconder in Councillor Durkee. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. So we have an agenda. Item 4, approval of the minutes from January 18th, 2022. Yes, Mr. Camo, you're moving?
I would move the acceptance of the minutes as written.
Okay, we have a mover. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Hilton, seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Item 6, which is items for discussion or approval, Pleasant Lake rezoning. There's a present. So we're gonna move that. I'll look to our CEO Brooks. We're not going to have the presentation tonight. We'll move that item entirely to next month. Okay. Other items, citizen representative appointments. I'll look to Ms. Brooks to speak to that.
I think, Mr. Chair, I think you did skip over one item of business for tonight.
Oh, sorry, 6.2, my apologies. Rezoning application, 719 Highway 1 Hebron. My apologies.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. So I'm gonna run you through this. Hopefully you had time to look at the report for the rezoning on 719 Highway 1 in Hebron.
Yes.
I have a presentation here. I'll just pop up on the screen. Oh, host has that disabled. Kim, can you allow screen sharing or?
Are you good to, can you share it now?
Yeah, seems to be working. Okay. All right, yeah, so we have an application for rezoning of 719 Highway 1 in Hebron. So the request is the request is to rezone 719 Evangeline Trail Highway 1 Hebron, also known as PID 901-59062, from commercial restricted to residential general in order to create 2 new residential properties. You can see the subject property here with one building up front fronting the road and then several cottages down below overlooking the lake. So the subject property was previously operated as a motel with small cottages along the lake. The new owners intend to remove all of the existing cottages as well as the back portion of the house in the front. They will then, what they hope to do is then subdivide the property into 2 residential properties, one with the remainder of the house fronting on the street, and then one in behind with lake access and a new house built. So there's some additional context here. You can see the subject property just from Google Street View. This is the house fronting. The 711 Highway 1 is the neighboring commercial restricted property. And then 725 Highway 1 is the neighboring property to the north, which is already residential. So the application would be to rezone this lot of commercial restricted to residential general, the same as the majority of the surrounding properties. Residential general uses are permitted within the commercial restricted zone. However, the lot requirements for the zone are much more extensive than those of the residential general zone. because the property owner wishes to subdivide the property, the proposed properties that would come from that would not meet the required frontage and total area for the commercial restricted zone, and as such could not receive the subdivision approval. So the municipal planner and the development officer have recommended that the applicant consider rezoning the property to residential general prior to submitting the subdivision application, which is what we're talking about today. So here is a table with the requirements for residential general and commercial restricted. You can see they have a much larger required side yard for commercial restricted, as well as a larger total lot area and a 100-foot minimum lot frontage instead of 20 feet. The proposed properties that would come from the future subdivision would result in 10,890 and 26,136. So technically just large enough to be rezoned under commercial restricted. However, the resulting frontage would be too little at 82 feet and 20.89, which is why this rezoning is required by the applicant. So the municipal planning strategy has this area marked as to be residential general in the future. The council's intention was to direct commercial activities along Highway 1 in Hebron and into the Dayton commercial zone just south of here, where commercial development has already concentrated for some time. Council does not wish to create non-conforming uses where these commercial uses already exist, though. So the residential general designation was spot zoned onto existing commercial properties at that time, which is how this property became residential or commercial restricted instead of residential general. Property zone commercial restricted would never be permitted to expand into adjacent areas earmarked for residential general. So I know this is really small, but the subject property is located right here, and this whole yellow area is what is planned as residential general in the generalized future land use map within the MPS, with council preferring to direct commercial development in the area to the commercial general area in Dayton right here. So overall, the proposal is consistent with the municipal area and the existing uses in the area. For this reason, we would recommend that PAC consider council approve the application to rezone 7 residential general as outlined in the proposal. The step process is, of course, going through the public participation at the planning advisory level. And that would include us on the property advertising Facebook, a committee, notice property is 1,000 feet or properties, and then there'll be information just and copy of the report that was submitted tonight and public. Very similar to what we do for everything and what we talked about earlier today. So that is the end of my presentation. Do we have any questions on or?
Thank you. Are there any questions from the PAC or staff? Maybe we could diminish the presentation that I can, oh, Councillor Cushing, I see your hand up.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I think this is the area where Eaton's Cottages used to be. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay. And so what's the new owner wants to? So what the new owner wants to do is divide that into, make 2 residential properties, which would be good, because just north of that, them 2 houses there are fairly close together also. So I have no problem with them having the request to rezone this to for 2 residential properties. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Counselor Cushing. Are there additional questions from PAC? Don't see any additional questions. So we have a recommendation from our planner. Is there somebody that would wants to make a motion? Counselor Hilton?
Yeah, I'll make that a motion. I don't think anyone's going to argue with turning commercial back to residential. It seems to be the other way around. So I'll make the motion that we, is it recommend, or it's not even moved to, is it moved to cancel at this point? We still have,
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we need a public participation meeting. So it's to move ahead to a public participation.
perfect. So that we move ahead to a public participation meeting for the purpose of PID 901596062, for the idea that we are recommending the change from commercial restricted to general residential for rezoning.
Thank you, Councilor
I'll second that
Hilton.
motion.
We have a seconder in Patty Simpson. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed? Motion carried.
All right, sorry, everyone. I guess I cut out there. Hopefully most of that came through.
We could hear you, and it was pretty clear what you're talking about from you had the slide up, so that was helpful.
Perfect.
Yeah, so it worked out.
Yeah, sorry about that. Something just crashed right there as soon as Lauren started talking.
Yeah, oh, it's fine. So item 7, other items, 7.1 citizen representative appointments, and I'll look to our CAO to speak to that item.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So we'd like to welcome back Citizen Rep Warner Camo and Citizen Rep Patty Simpson. Council extended their appointments to the Planning Advisory Committee at their meeting last month. So they're with us for another 2 and 3 years, I think. Warner for 3 and Patty for 2, I believe. So welcome back. We do have 1 vacant seat. So according to the municipality's policy on citizen appointments, we'll re-advertise that position and look to recruit that 3rd citizen rep position.
Okay, thank you, CO Brooks, and thank you to Mr. Camo and Ms. Simpson for their past service and everything they're going to do for the PAC and the municipality moving forward. So thank you so much. Item 8, date of the next meeting is March 15th, 2022 at 7 p.m. So if there are no further comments, and just remember that we do have those additional comments about the Pleasant Lake project, and that is in the public participation meeting file or agenda online, so you can look those over for the review those for the meeting next month. And Ms. Brooks, I recognize you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I just wanted to say that the proposed next meeting, that is March break week. So if there are committee members who do have plans for March break, if you could let Kim know as soon as reasonably possible so that we can manage any issues around quorum that might come up.
And truth be told, I'm likely I may be away, and I'm seeing Mr. Camo. I'll recognize you.
Yeah, I likely will be on the road and unable to attend the meeting on that day.
Let's go the week after.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, maybe now's a good time to make that decision.
Yeah, and then everybody knows and is aware, and we're in public session, so folks will know. So I'm in agreement with that. I think if everybody is, we'll hold it the subsequent week. So it would be the 22nd. If my math is right, I hope it is. So March 22nd, 2022, 7 p.m. will be the next regularly scheduled PAC. So without anything further, thank you, everybody. We had a good meeting tonight and moved some of the municipalities' business forward. And more development in the municipality is always good news. So we've got a few files and to look after, to attend to. So thank you very much. I'll look for somebody to move adjournment. Councillor Durkee, move, seconder. Councillor Cushing, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Motion carried. Thank you, everybody. See you next month.